Hello, good morning or good afternoon if you're watching this video. It's Monday the 28th of May. I'm Keith Mills, the web manager of allkindsoferything.ie, and I'm back at home here in beautiful Limerick City where the sun is beating down today, and apparently the weather has been good back here in Ireland while I've been off in Baku. It was a little bit of an effort getting back here, 43 hours of without sleep. From the time that I got up on Saturday morning, then went out to the show after eating in town, and then the usual logistical nightmare of coming back from the venue all the way back into the city, then turning around and getting out to the airport. Not helped by the fact that I'd misread my baggage allowance and had 20 kilos rather than 25 as my luggage allowance. But a long journey back, plane to Heathrow, back to Dublin, and then last night back to Limerick by train, and I just got in just before midnight. Have to say, for all of the tiredness and for the fatigue and the sheer post-Eurovision depression syndrome that some people get, I still think that was a fantastic 2 weeks. An absolutely wonderful experience in Baku and in Azerbaijan. I wouldn't regret a minute of it. I thought it was a fantastic couple of weeks and a really good show on television. Now on this blog I'm not going to talk about the show itself per se, or not a lot about it anyway, because I haven't seen the show on television, and that's what I'm going to do this afternoon. And then I'm going to do a written blog talking about the show, my thoughts on it, and perhaps the areas where Eurovision could improve for the future. But this blog is more about the feeling of gratitude to the people of Azerbaijan for their enthusiasm, for their effort, and for their sheer friendliness that they've shown everybody involved in Eurovision for the last 2 weeks. It's a thank you for the people that I met in Baku and the sense of almost expeditionary spirit that we all had discovering new things. The little tips we gave one another on good restaurants, places to go, things to see, how you could save a bit of money, and that kind of thing. And especially, of course, a big thanks to Elaine and to Andrew for their sterling work on the blog. I think they're getting home this Monday morning, so they're a little bit behind me. As for the contest itself, well, what can I say? I thought it was a very good contest. Sorry that it overran again, and I think that is an issue. I think the show should be limited to 3 hours. I thought it was a very spectacular show. Interval act left me a little bit cold, even though it was spectacular. I thought the postcards were fantastic. I thought the presenters were good. And I thought the result, well, for me it was a little bit disappointing, but then I've long since learned to detach the whole results element of the contest from the experience of being at Eurovision. It was particularly disappointing from an Irish fan's perspective, making all that journey over there only to get one of our more disappointing results. And I was on the plane yesterday coming back with Jedward and the RTE team, and they too, I think, had a little sense of a bit of a down with the result, and they didn't see it coming. But, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. The one thing I will say, and I'll say this as a note of real positivity, after 2 years of having Jedward at Eurovision, there is a whole new generation of Irish people that are now tuning into the Eurovision Song Contest. And with that, it can only be for the benefit of the contest here in Ireland. And I would like to thank Jedward and all of their entourage for the work that they've done in promoting themselves in Ireland and in Eurovision, and helping to bring Eurovision to a bigger base here in this country. And reading the newspapers as I have done this morning, I get the sense again of a little bit of a disappointing feeling about the result, but Jedward are the kind of guys who are resilient, they're energetic, and they have the talent and skills to go on and put this little bit of a setback behind them and go on to bigger and better things on an international stage. I notice also that the British media are a little bit more, how should I say, negative to their result. Yes, they did even worse than we did, finishing second last. And I noticed that there's a lot of calls for the UK to withdraw from the Eurovision Song Contest. I would personally regret seeing them leave the contest, but I think a period of reconsideration is certainly required within the BBC. Things have not gone well for them this year, and when you deny the people of the country a say in choosing the Eurovision entry for 2 years in a row and then fail to make the top 10, well then I think something is wrong, and that should be reviewed And whether it takes a couple of years out of the contest for a period of review or a whole new thinking and energy going into next year's contest, something needs to be done there. As for the victory of Sweden, it isn't a song I particularly like. I've always made that clear, but then I haven't particularly liked the last two Eurovision winners either, so that's nothing new to me either. And as I said, that's water off a duck's back. When you go to Eurovision, the winner is only part of the experience. I noticed that a lot of people are enthusiastic about the song, and that's great. They've got the winner that they wanted. I do hope that it passes the threshold of a good Eurovision winner and becomes an international success. And after last year's rather disappointing result in that field, I think the chances are that Loreen and Euphoria will be a bigger hit, and hopefully it will achieve the holy grail of all Eurovision winners and actually help develop an international career. I've decided to take a year out of the contest. Next year I won't be going to Sweden. It's a city I'm all too familiar with and have no great enthusiasm to go back there for Eurovision, having done it already in 2000. But the website will be covering the event next year, and so just stay tuned for that. So that's it. I'd like to thank everybody for all of their enthusiasm back to us and their messages of support for us and their messages of thanks to us. It's been a pleasure to tell you about Baku and the Eurovision Song Contest. It's been a fantastic couple of weeks, and I'm glad to have been a very, very small part of it. I'd like to thank the organisers, the EBU team, who did a sterling job as well. And stay tuned to the Eurovision Song Contest, stay tuned to the allkindsoferything.ie, and looking forward to next year. Bye for now.